Hello, I'm Dango Rose. Welcome to the Mountaineer Podcast, where everybody's listening. The Mountaineer brings you the latest news of the Peak to Peak region, in print, online, through our podcast, social media, and special publications. Now, listen in to the latest news of the area with our local journalists.
Hello there, everybody. Welcome to Music of the Mountains, where to be and what to see, brought to you by the Mountaineer Podcast. This is the first time in a while that I've played a song in the intro of a Music of the Mountains segment, because today we have two guests for this week's Music of the Mountains, and I wanted to make sure I featured songs from both of them. The song that you are currently listening to is called Magic Hours. It's written and performed by Alexa Wildish, and it's from her self-titled EP. She'll be performing in a co-billing with Sadie Gustafson-Zook at the Gold Hill General Store very soon. So today, I'm featuring both Alexa and Sadie to talk about that show. Submissions for the Mountaineers Youth Art Contest 2026 have officially closed. On April 9th, the contest will officially start. Head to the mtnear.com to vote for your favorite starting April 9th. The winners will be announced in the April 30th edition of the Mountaineer. In Music of the Mountains, we want to make sure we keep you up to date with all of the great music events in the Peak to Peak area. And that includes music events from this week's sponsor, Eldora Mountain Resort. Skip the epic traffic on I-70 and head to Eldora for good vibes all season long. Eldora is your go-to spot for non-stop winter fun, with great local skiing and riding, plus slopeside DJs and the App Race Music Series. Don't miss the Full Moon Ski Tour, the Timbers Rail Jam, or the Morning Uphill Grind. Get all the details and check out weekly events at eldora.com. See you on the mountain! And now, let's get into this week's interview.
All right. So, do you guys just mind introducing yourselves real quick?
Sure. Hi, I'm Alexa Wildish, and I'm a Lyons, Colorado artist, and it's nice to be out here.
Yeah, my name's Sadie Gustafson-Zook, and I'm currently based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, and I'm excited to be playing some shows in Colorado.
Yay.
Sweet. I hear that you will be performing as a duo very soon in Gold Hill.
Well, we will be playing a co-bill show, so we won't be playing necessarily together, but we will be playing individual sets that I'm sure will work well together.
Totally. And there might be some weaving in and out of each other's sets. We haven't fully discussed that yet, but I think it'd be fun.
Sweet. Okay. In that case, in terms of the co-bill, how individually for you guys' music careers and music interests, how did you guys kind of get into the music world?
You want to start, Sadie?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I grew up with pretty musical parents. So I started performing when I was a little kid, and then I kind of just kept going. So it's been basically my whole life I have been making music and performing in some way, but it's been nice to be able to lean more in the singer-songwriter side of things, and I'm expressing myself in my songwriting and in my performances. So yeah, that's a short answer, but yes.
It's a great answer. Yeah, and likewise, I also grew up with a musical family, which I grew up at a really young age performing, probably like from 4 years old on, and taking voice lessons and learning a lot and ultimately going to school for music. And I would say the same. I would say that I love and have been writing my own music for about, now like maybe 20 years. Is that accurate? I feel like it's about that. And it's been such an evolving experience of getting to understand myself. And sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I have to pinch myself that I get to do this because it's such a fulfilling life and career. So I really love that I get to do this, and super, super, super excited to share these shows with Sadie because I admire her so much.
I am also looking forward to it.
Have you guys co-billed before? Have you played a duo performance before? What's kind of the history with that?
We haven't.
We've never played a show together.
We were both at the Rocky Mountain Folks Fest in, I think, 2022. Alexa had won the, songwriter contest the year before, and then I was the following year. So I remember Alexa was there. Weren't you? Yeah, Alexa was there. And,
I was there, yeah. And for sure.
I think that's where we met.
I think that's where we met, but we have tons of mutual friends, too. And so I've known Sadie's name for a long time. And then last year, Sadie played the main stage at Planet Bluegrass, and I was the MC. So we kind of got a little more time to spend together, and I feel like we just kind of flopped into a couple conversations about music and felt like we had a lot of things that were aligning us. But yeah, and kind of became friends after that. And I was really excited to hear when Sadie was coming to Colorado because I was like, absolutely, I want to share some shows with you. And we kind of built this little mini tour in my home state. So it's really sweet.
Yeah.
For sure. Sounds like you guys are both songwriters on your own accord and have been for a bit. How long have you been writing songs?
I've been writing since, probably similar to Alexa. When I was in 5th grade, I wrote my first song. So, yeah, a long time. 25 years. A while.
Yeah. I've been writing songs for a really long time, but I'd say I started, really about 20 years ago, which is a long time.
I'm really bad at math. I'm now thinking, I don't think that math checks out. Probably it's been 20 years.
Well, yeah, it's been 20 years for me. Oh, man. That is crazy.
So basically we're super seasoned.
We've been doing it forever. But yeah, I feel like I'm constantly growing and shifting and navigating and learning things about myself and the industry as it always changes. And yeah, lots of different ways in which I express that musically. I teach voice lessons. I think you do too, right, Sadie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We both teach, and there's lots of different ways in which to express this creative part of our lives, I suppose.
Yeah, I am teaching voice and guitar and songwriting, and it's fun to be able to have a more external experience with music that's helping other people, because the songwriting process is so great, and diving into my own psyche is so fun. And I love performing those songs too and getting to share that, but I really am into the part of it where it's interacting with other people and bringing other people in. So it's nice to have a balance of performing and teaching.
Yeah, and I feel the same with teaching. I've been teaching for about 15 years now, and it's also been such a nourishing part of my music. I think it's amazing to me how much I grow from teaching, how much I learn in the process of working with other people who are maybe at different parts of their journeys. And I work with peers sometimes, and then I sometimes working with people who have never sang before and people who are super nervous. And it's just so fulfilling, and continually I'm kind of shocked and surprised at how fun all of that can be too within the process of songwriting. I'm like, oh, this is also part of that whole experience, the ecosystem.
For sure. Is there a particular style that you guys have both leaned towards in your own songwriting over the years?
Yeah, I don't know, Alexa, historically, what kind of music you've written, but at this point, I feel like we're both writing folky, Laurel Canyon-esque songs. I feel like my songs could be a lot of genres depending on what type of guitar I played, but they definitely have the thread of storytelling and the narrative vibe of a folk song. But I also, again, I'm indie pop, I feel like the genres they're becoming more porous, I guess. And so I really love the folk world, and I also am happy to not have that be the only, it's definitely not my only inspiration. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I would say the same thing about the genres being porous, but I've, over the last several years, sort of leaned more into Americana, or the umbrella of Americana, because I also feel that I have some more deeper country, more classic country vibes to my songwriting. And then also some of my interpretations of covers that I did. I put out a cover record 2 years ago now because I got to be on The Voice, and within that time on The Voice, I really started to feel my own interpretation of covers and how they started to veer a little bit Americana and more country, even if it was a pop song. So I do feel like I'm comfortable naming that. And Americana also has some of the, the folk Laurel Canyon feel, but also Celtic music, which is near and dear to my heart as well.
That's awesome. And over the years, have there been any particular influences that have stuck out to both of you in forming that style?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would say, and I don't want to speak directly for Sadie, but I think we're both influenced by Joni Mitchell. Like, she seems like a pretty big influence for singer-songwriters, but even just vocally, as I like hear Sadie's stuff and even my own, I would say she's a huge influence. Alison Krauss is an influence of mine. Eva Cassidy, as far as her ability to make covers be her own, I'm very influenced by that. Linda Ronstadt. Yeah, those are some of my bigger influences, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like for me, not obviously, people do bring up Joni Mitchell a lot. And it's funny because I didn't really grow up listening to that much Joni Mitchell, but I think that I listened to a lot of people that like Joni Mitchell. So
yeah, that's it.
I listened to a lot of music from the 70s, definitely era-wise, but I was listening to a lot of like Bill Withers and Earth, Wind and Fire and a lot of James Taylor, people that are like Joni Mitchell somehow. My family, we just skipped that. I listened to a lot of the Beatles, and I listened more contemporarily to the Weepies. They were my favorite band for a long time.
Yes!
And that's kind of more indie, but it's been fun. I moved to Minnesota a little under a year ago, and that band was based, I think, in Iowa City or somewhere in Iowa. And since I moved here, people have been bringing them up a lot more as a like, oh, have you been influenced by the Weepies? And I'm so excited that it's true. Like, that actually was a big influence of mine.
That is amazing. Yeah, and I also studied classical music growing up and musical theater. So it's like a big, honestly, like, I used to kind of cringe saying that to myself because I was like, oh, I don't want to be uncool, which sounds really mean. But I think the musical theater part of me makes so much sense now because I do think storytelling is a huge part of musical theater, and vocal expression is, I want to be able to like have those big swells and those moments that like feel like they're capturing attention and creating an arc within a song. So yeah, also super influenced by that.
That's so funny. I feel like we gotta chat sometime, Alexa, while we're on the road.
I know, I'm like, did we the same path?
I'm like, yes, I also studied classical voice, and I also did musical theater and like all of these things. So I think we're gonna be a great pair.
Great show. I know. I knew it, Sadie.
Awesome. And so you guys have a lot of influences in terms of the artists that have inspired your sound and the music that you've listened to over the years. I understand that this is not an immediate off the top of your head, but we also now help distribute a monthly publication called Caribou Current for the Mountaineer, and we have a little segment called Under the Influence where we talk about artists and their inspirations. So are there particular albums that have stuck out to you guys over the years in terms of the influences that have most inspired you?
Totally. I have been, some of the albums that are sticking out to me is Laura Marling's Semper Femina is a huge influence on my music. That was maybe 2015. And then Carrie and Lowell, Sufjan Stevens, also a huge influence for me. And then I was just talking about how much I love The Grass is Blue, Dolly Parton, which is a very bluegrass record. And just her vocals are incredible in it. So those top three from what I can think of. Oh, and then Court and Spark, Joni Mitchell are some of those massive influence records for me.
I feel like my musical education was a lot more like compilation or mix CD based. And so when people are like, who did you listen to growing up? Sometimes I'm like, I actually don't know. It was a mix CD. And it was just like one song per artist. And I don't even know who the artists are.
I love that. Actually.
In terms of full CDs, I listened a lot to the Bye Bye Birdie soundtrack.
I love it.
ABBA Gold. But I feel like I'm not sure which of these were like, oh, this is like something I'm consciously being inspired by and something that just like entered into my subconscious and then comes out sometimes. So like, yeah, definitely. I mean, like the Weepies, I got their Be My Thrill album, I think I really liked. And
I love the Weepies.
The like the Beatles one that was a Red compilation album. Like, yeah, it wasn't some original. It was a compilation. I'm sure there were lots. Charlotte Church Enchantment album.
Oh my God, Charlotte Church Enchantment. That is some deep cut. Sorry for trying to Sadie, but
I don't know that
we have got to talk about
how
Charlotte
has that
Church.
influenced me? I don't know.
Girl, we could like name the tracks off of that record. I love Charlotte Church growing up.
Oh, and I did really like Alison Krauss's album Forget About It. That one I did
forget about it. Yes, we did not forget about it. Not even a little.
That is awesome. And I mean, there have been a lot of great influences over the years for you. And so, since you started songwriting, what has stuck out most to you guys about songwriting as a whole?
Yeah, I was just thinking about how in my own songwriting journey, one of the things I continue to be amazed by is that sometimes I'll just write a song and not know what it's about. And then several years down the line, I'll be like, oh, now the song, it's like I wrote a song from the past to my future self. And like I have this like realization of like, oh, that's about now. Like this is about this experience, even though like I kind of was unsure of what it's about. So sometimes that can be really surprising to me. And I love how music stays alive within live performances. Like I'll have written a song many years ago and I'll play it again in this moment and it means something entirely different as the person I am today. So I sort of feel like it's this mystical time traveling thing, but it also is like a future predictor in some ways. So it never ceases to amaze me how magical and like it just totally can blow me away with how it just predicts the future in some ways.
Yeah, I think going off of that, like sometimes I think about songwriting as kind of a mantra that I'm going to like spend some time in, and that it ends up not only predicting the future, but being like making the future happen. There have been a few times when I've like been trying to figure out what I want for myself, and the songwriting process has been really helpful to come up with a concrete idea. And then eventually, because I have the idea, I know how to make it happen. And then the other side of that is like if I'm writing a song that is about something that is not like an emotion or like a mental state that I want to like really be in that much, then I usually don't perform those songs because I just don't want to be hanging out in it. Like I want to be putting forth the energy that I want for myself. But I think it's still important to write those songs, but that as far as performing goes, I'm like less interested in hanging out with it.
Totally. I've had an experience with some of my songs just on that note, like that feel like a past version of myself. And sometimes I'll sing it with an intention to like let that part of me go. It's like I'm letting another piece of me release, but I do have to sing it intentionally with that in mind because I don't like hanging out in that emotion, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That is fair. And what has stuck out to you about performing these songs? You know, sharing these songs with an audience and just performing in general. What has been great about that part of it?
I think when I started writing songs, I was feeling kind of self-conscious that if I performed them, that it would seem really self-centered, like when I was a teenager. And I came up, my family was Mennonite, pretty progressive Mennonite, but still very like service-oriented and like other-oriented. And the idea of like being a musician who was doing my own music, I was like not totally sure if that fit into the like value set that I had grown up with. But then when I started performing my original songs out, it became really evident pretty quickly that like music and songwriting are a thing that a lot of people relate to. And honestly, the more specific I was in my songs, like the more they seemed to connect with people and the more people would come back to me and want to share about their life. And so it became more of a thing that was like, oh, I don't really need to worry about this not applying to other people. If anything, it's just like reminding me and reminding everybody else that we are all human beings and that we like are flawed and that we have a lot of things going on in our heads. And like it made me feel seen by performing them, and it made the people in the audience feel seen by witnessing me. So that's something I really love about performing.
Yeah, I love that, Sadie, and I agree with that. One of the things that's popping out to me about performance that has been sort of this interesting lifelong experience, because I grew up in musical theater and classical music, you know, I was singing other people's songs, and I was always putting on a character when I was doing these things. And that was really great for me as a person to evolve and put on different hats and become who I am. But there came a point when I started to write my own music where I was like, oh, this is way more vulnerable. And there isn't really a performance scene. You know, like I don't get to hide behind a character, especially choosing to be a singer-songwriter and not a pop artist, which I love pop. And I love that people have their alter egos that they perform under. Writing my own songs and performing my own songs has been this constant like, oh, I am more and more vulnerable to like reading my journal out loud. Like that feels really scary and hard, but also at the same time is like so evolving to my spirit. So yeah, I really have to check some things internally. Like I notice when I'm like the moment that I start caring like what other people think in a performance, like if I'm worried if the audience isn't interested, or I saw that guy yawn over in the corner, or like this person's not paying attention, you know, like if I'm looking at a room of people and I'm actually like projecting what I think they feel, it's like the medicine kind of goes away. And I've realized that when I allow myself to deeply just be in the presence of the song and like be in the moment, the energy is different. And it does become a transformational tool, both for myself, but also like I've heard the audience feels it differently too. Like it's important. It is actually so important to focus on yourself in that moment and just let yourself be witnessed being transformed by that music, because that is where we start to feel our humanity, like Sadie was saying.
Sweet. And yeah, I mean, with all those in mind, you know, is there anything in particular that you hope people kind of take away from your music or your shows or what have you whenever you perform or release a new project or just share the music in general?
Yeah, something I've been thinking about a lot recently is like the way that I want my concerts and my shows that I'm kind of putting together to be spaces where the community is like meeting each other as well as meeting me. Because as an artist, it feels like we're really good at getting people together in a room. And often if we're on tour, it's like we're just showing up, doing our thing, and then leaving. And there's like so much goodness that can come from people coming together and being in a room together. And so I've been trying to think about different ways to make my shows more interactive so that the audience is like getting to know me, sure, but also interacting with each other, interacting with me, and just feeling more like filled up by the end of the show. And not just because they're like listening to music, but that they feel like they're a part of something, and hopefully they like make connections with each other that then they can carry on into their life and feel less alone and less isolated and more like sense of community. So I love intimate shows for this reason. So like I am really pumped to play at the Gold Hill store because it's going to be a small room and there's going to be a lot of opportunities for us to like be, I don't know, sharing the space together and feeling like a sweet, intimate show. And yeah, I'm a sucker for like making eye contact with the audience, which some people don't like. But I'm with you. I like it. I like feeling like I'm seen. I like knowing that people are seeing me, and I like seeing people and
totally
gauging how they're doing and stuff. So anyway, those are some thoughts.
Yeah, I love that, Sadie. That's so cool. And yeah, especially at this time that we're in where we're so disconnected. And I'm definitely putting myself in that too. Like I often feel very lonely and like very like, how do we connect with each other in the age of AI and like an age of like where everything is just so disconnected in social media. It seems like we're getting closer, but we're not. It's like false intimacy. So there's like nothing more radical in a lot of ways than performing in front of a bunch of people. You know, it's like that is it actually starts to feel like because the world is like that right now, those moments of deep connection where we can actually gather and like do something unique and experience something together is so beautiful and radical and a form of resistance in a lot of ways. So I equally feel that. I do love performing in rooms like that where it's small and intimate because you do get to make the eye contact, and it does sort of feel like it harkens to a time where like I often end my sets with a song called Invocation, which is a song of mine, and I wrote it as an homage to my Celtic heritage and people that came way before me, but I also like want to honor my ancestors. And one of the traditions of my people was that there would be, I mean, this is not just my tradition, but like so many people's come from a state of like sharing stories and songs and solidifying moments and memories with music. So I like to kind of bring the attention inward and into ourselves and also into the group of like, this is a moment that we have now stamped and come together for. It's like we are now in this moment forever in time. We will always remember this. So I love the idea of just like continuing to bring people together in real time, in a real memory that's just like, this is really powerful stuff.
Sweet. And yeah, I don't know, is there just anything else in general about your shows, upcoming shows, or this upcoming Gold Hill show, or just anything else that you want to add?
Yeah, well, I do want to name that. So we'll be at the Gold Hill store on the 16th of April. And then on the 17th of April, we'll also be at Swallow Hill in Denver. And on the 18th of April, we'll be at Society Hall in Alamosa. So we're hitting a few different markets at that point in a few different places. So we would just love to see, I mean, if you want to come to all three shows, that'd be even cooler.
Come to all
Because it
three.
might change every night. Come to all three. Come with us.
Caravan.
Yeah, exactly.
Sweet. But I know you guys have also got other events outside of those coming up as well, I think, because I saw separate when I was looking things up, Alexa, that you are performing at Foco MX later this year.
Yeah, so that'll be, I think, April 24th. I'll be playing with a band at Foco MX, so that's in Fort Collins. And then I have another show that's being solidified and hasn't yet been announced, but that's May 16th. I mean, I guess I can say it now, but like, ticket links aren't up yet, but they will be soon. May 16th at Planet Bluegrass at the Wildflower with a band. And the band starts, which will be such a fun night of music. So really looking forward to these ones.
Sweet. And Sadie, what have you got coming up along those lines?
Yeah, let's see. I have honestly been trying to tour less, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, I've been really enjoying being in Minneapolis. I just put out an album that is called The House on the Park, and it is a fundraiser for rent relief in Minneapolis for families affected by the ice occupation here. So that's available on Bandcamp. And so I'm just still trying to like promote that, get the word out, because people are still needing money for rent. So that has been a big thing that I've been doing. And then otherwise, I'm mostly just trying to fill out shows on my way to and fro other shows. So yeah, little shows with friends. That's kind of what I'm about right now.
Sweet. Yeah, I don't know. I think those are the big questions that I personally have on my end.
Great.
Cool.
Well, thanks
so much for having
us.
us.
It was really fun. Yeah. We even learned things about each other. That was great.
That is awesome. Yeah, thank you guys so much for jumping on. This was a total blast.
Thank you, Davey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Sadie and Alexa for coming on board and joining us for this week's Music of the Mountains double billing. They'll be performing a double billing at the Gold Hill General Store very soon, so be sure to head to 531 Main Street in Gold Hill on Thursday, April 16th, 2026, starting at 6:30 p.m. to see them both performing live. You can learn more about their music by heading to alexawildish.com and sadiegustafson-zook.com. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in to this week's Music of the Mountains, Where to Be and What to See, brought to you by the Mountain Ear Podcast. I'm Jamie Lammers, and I've been your host for this episode. Be sure to keep an ear out for the next episode of the Mountain Ear Podcast, and subscribe today wherever you get your podcasts. If you want to support local journalism, be sure to head to the mtnear.com and click on the subscribe button in the top right corner of our homepage to get a physical or digital subscription to the Mountain Ear newspaper. Be sure to find us on Facebook, on Instagram at mtn.ear, and on YouTube. If you have any questions or suggestions for the paper or the podcast, be sure to reach out to me at media@themountaineer.com, my co-host Tyler Hickman at tyler@themountaineer.com, our editor-in-chief Barbara Hart at info@themountaineer.com, and general inquiries at frontdesk@themountaineer.com. And finally, be sure to keep an eye out for the monthly edition of Caribou Current every single month with a physical Mountain Ear subscription. To learn more about the publication, be sure to head to cariboucurrent.com. We'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day.
End of the movie, we didn't listen to scientists' warnings of our extinction. Together we sat eating one holy supper, while outside an asteroid prepared for our surrender.
The song that you are currently listening to is called Kitchen. It's written and performed by Sadie Gustafson-Zook, taken from her latest album, The House on the Park, which is currently available for download and purchase on Bandcamp. Sadie will be performing with Alexa Wildish at the Gold Hill General Store on Thursday, April 16th, 2026, starting at 6:30 p.m., so be sure to head over there to see them both performing live. To learn more about the artists, be sure to head to sadiegustafsonzook.com and alexawildish.com.
For before she flees to Toronto to stay at her friend's house. And once out, they sit down together to recount, feel the ground. In the end, the kitchen's what I want, the kitchen's what I want, sitting in the kitchen's what I want, the kitchen's what I want, kitchen's what I want, kitchen's what I want. In the end, the kitchen's what I want, the kitchen's what I want.
And that's it for our show. Subscribe online to get more access to more news, weekly updates to our community calendar, and a link to our YouTube channel by visiting themountaineer.com. Be sure to use the coupon code PODCAST when subscribing for a 10% discount, only available to our listeners. If you are in the local Peak to Peak area, be sure to pick up a print edition of The Mountaineer at a local business. I'm Dango Rose. Thank you for listening.